and welcome to Mary Grace TV. I'm Mary Grace, and I have a very interesting couple of guests here with me today. We're going to talk about food, but a very special kind of food, and we'll get to that in just a minute. Before we do, I want to remind you that if you are watching this show, it's most likely because you got the link through my mailing list. And if you're catching it later on and you're wondering where the heck did Mary Grace go and how do I find her show, I encourage you to go to my website marygracemedia.com, and join the email list. That is where you're going to be guaranteed to get a link whenever I post a show or go live here on my show. So go to marygracemedia.com. You can scan the QR code on your screen. Just make sure you don't ever miss a show. And also, if for some reason one of these big tech platforms take me down, then you will know that you can always count on an email from me. Add my email address to your address book, info@marygracemedia.com, so it won't go to spam. I will let everybody know if you're looking for me on YouTube, you probably didn't find me because I'm back in YouTube jail. So that's another reason to get on the mailing list, marygracemedia.com. So I'm going to go to our guests now and introduce them. This is a very exciting guest because I've been looking for a long time for additional food sources for my listeners who are asking me how to find the best America First companies to help them to prep, but also just to feed their families on a daily basis. So I have with me the fellows from a company called Grid Down Chow Down, Jordan and Nace. These are a couple of brothers who are bringing you the best, highest quality freeze-dried beef. And right from the heartland of this country, and I'm very excited to welcome them. Welcome to the show, guys. Good to have you. Hold on a second. I muted you. I apologize. Let's
Oh.
start that over. So welcome to the show, Jordan and Nace. You're on Mary Grace TV. Good to have you.
Thank you for having us. I'm Jordan. This is my brother, Nace.
Pretty much lookalikes. Does your mom get you confused?
You know, she hasn't yet, but yeah.
Okay, she doesn't call you by each other's names because all
No.
moms do that. Okay, well, she's pretty special. So listen, I got a chance to meet you guys by phone. We haven't
Uh-huh.
met in person yet, although I think I did see you last time I was in Tulsa. But you're down there in the heart of the country. You know Clay Clark, and that's how we got introduced. But you're doing something very special that is helping a lot of families to have a really good source of nutrition and also to have peace of mind. So tell us a little bit about what it is that you have for us there at Grid Down Chow Down.
Well, I'll kind of take you back from where we started and where we came up with this idea in the first place. You know, back during the great toilet paper, pandemic or depression, where you couldn't find toilet paper, and you'd go to the store, and they were doing the whole meat ration thing. I remember going to Costco and getting kicked out because I didn't have a face mask, and they wouldn't take my cash. It was not good enough for them to take at that time. And so we started thinking, uh-oh, we're going to have to figure something out. One, we can't get toilet paper. So, I mean, that's not fun. Two, even bigger issue is that we might not be able to get food. And even if we did, I mean, me and Nace personally, we spent a lot of money filling up our freezers. And, I think not very long after that, we had some big storms and the freezers went down. We lost meat. I'm sure we're not the only ones in America that struggle with this issue. And so we started figuring out, like, hey, what is a good, sustainable food supply that's going to carry all the nutrients, all of the needs that we need as humans, And so we started doing a lot of research. And that kind of brought us down the road of freeze drying. So we went on this journey of freeze drying just for our family. And so when we were doing this, a lot of, people like Clay, even our close friends and family were like, hey, so I need you to do this for me too. And so we're like, okay, well, I guess a lot of people, not just us, are also looking for alternative solutions, something else that they can count on and depend on, when hard times come. And so we went down this whole journey of freeze drying meat. And so we started doing freeze dried, grass fed, grass finished meat. We've always been kind of the people that either grow healthy organic food or we look at grass fed, grass finished, because that's kind of how God designed things in the first place. And so that's kind of what we started doing. And so we found out that there's a lot of people out there that during this whole pandemic, they spent thousands and I mean thousands, like $10,000 at a time buying this prepper stuff in boxes that whenever they got it back, they finally realized, whoa, like that's awesome. It took a long time to get, but also now that I'm thinking about it, it's kind of a wasted investment because a lot of it's just sugars, carbs,
Yeah.
starches, and hardly any meats at all. So they're like, I probably wouldn't eat it unless I had to.
Right, exactly, and this is something that, this is there's a lot of silver linings that have come out of the pandemic, and one
Right.
of them is that people have been thinking more intentionally about the food supply and about how the food is farmed, how it's processed, what's in it, from start to finish, and what it does to your bodies, and and then, of course, storage, right? You said that you lost meat that you had invested in because the storms caused the freezers to go down. And we also have a lot of people who are now opting for off-grid living, and they need alternative ways to store food. But apart from that, you mentioned something that I think has been a big concern of a lot of people, which is just supply
Hmm.
and especially supply of quality meats and of the things that we value. We know that the people that were behind all of this uh, really don't want independent farmers to stay in business. And so I think for me and for my family, it's just wisdom to plan ahead. I always tell people don't be scared, be prepared.
Right.
And I believe that you guys at Grid Down Chow Down offer a solution that can really help people to take proactive measures to be prepared. And so the for those of you who are already intrigued, for my listeners, the the code is right here on the screen, the QR code. The website is griddownchowdown.com. And you can use promo code Mary Grace when you go there. Please do, because this is one of the ways that we help support the show. Griddownchowdown.com. If it's good enough for Clay Clark, who basically eats only beef, um, it's good enough for me. So let's talk a little bit about the process, though, because I have a friend who does freeze drying, and she and her husband, they have a nice big garage. They have a really beautiful setup with this freeze dryer that they invested in. They have a freezer that they sort of put the food in initially while they're waiting to have the time to freeze dry it. Like, they have a whole system set up, but it takes space and it takes an investment. And
Right.
there are people who are positioned to do that, but most of us either don't have well, I'm gonna let you describe, like, why is it a good investment for people to go and buy from you rather
Right.
than to become their own DIY freeze dry operation?
Right. I think, just a couple of weeks ago, we were on a podcast and they had some really, cool points that they brought up. They also had their own freeze dryer.
Yeah.
A lot of people that don't know about what a freeze dryer is or whatever, it is a pretty substantial investment up front. But he talked about how much time it takes. It isn't like, okay, the money is not necessarily that big of a deal. You can buy a recreational, free freeze dryer for you and for your family. And it's not, a whole lot, but now you
Mhm.
have to learn something that you've never learned. So do you want to learn how to do that? Two, the thing that they don't make any more of is time. Like, we only get so much time in a day. So do you want to spend that amount of time learning to do that, doing it, messing up stuff, or just even the upkeep of the machine? So it's like, if you like it and you're on a homestead farm off the grid, maybe that is a solution for you. But the ordinary average American, has a job and a family and all the kids' sports that they have to go to every weekend and all the practices. So they don't have that extra time. And so that's one thing that we can do for you is, hey, you guys do what you do. Like, you have a great podcast. You're bringing truth to people. And now you found a great product that people can trust. And I think that's great because people are looking for products that they can trust, because in the age of information, we have so much information, we don't know what's true and what's not true. So we get to count on people like you and like Clay to do the research, to get those relationships, and then bring, not only products made in the US, but from people that that you can trust. And so the people that we team up are people we know we can trust as well. But it's like, let us do what we do that we're good at. That way you can keep on focusing on the things that you're good at. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely,
Yeah.
and one of the things, that I really think is important, this is something that General Flynn, emphasizes all the time. He talks about taking local action, and I think that can apply over so many areas of expertise, and so, you guys are there, you have the resources, you also have the relationships with the ranchers where you know how the beef is grown, you know that they're not being injected with certain substances that people have become very wary of, um, and and this is something that people are starting to value, but not everybody can buy a cow. Not everybody can buy a quarter of a cow. Not everybody can, like you said, take the time to or the money to invest in the machine itself, and then go through the learning curve of learning how to do it. And
Right.
so this is just a valuable resource. It's kind of like, I value my car, my vehicle, I have a really nice vehicle, and I probably could learn how to do certain maintenance things on it. But I have a really good local mechanic
Right.
that shares my values and that loves working on cars. And he has a passion for it, and he's very fair, and so I am more than happy to take him my car. And
Hmm.
that's the way I see this, right? When it comes to feeding my family, there are things that I'm really happy to outsource, and this is one of them, because of the relationship we have, and I really try to work with as many local people as I can, and so you guys have gotten to know the farmers slash ranchers, and now you're bringing this food into your facility, and you're doing all of the work of getting these things processed and freeze dried. And so this is, to me, this is a gift. This is a gift to humanity that can help so many people feed their families in the immediate, but also prep for the future. It works both ways. So I want you guys to talk a little bit about the process of freeze drying, what happens to the meat, and then also what are some of the benefits of having the meat stored in this way. Can you tell us about that?
You want to talk about it?
Yeah, I can talk about it. So one thing Jordan kind of said about the freeze drying process is it takes time and a lot of time. Depends on your product. So I mean, we know that meat has a lot of water in it. So the freeze drying process is eliminating all the water so it can be stored 10 to 25 years. And so that's something you can't speed up. That's why the price is what it is because it's the whole cow. We call it the steak burger because it's every the best steak of the cow
So
is all ground
yeah, all of the
in
fine cuts.
in
Yeah.
the meat, and
Yeah.
so we call it the steak burger because it's the whole cow. But it takes time to prep it. It takes time to freeze dry it, and that's something we're doing right now. We're eliminating little things to
You
be
know,
more efficient.
and quite honestly, the prepping, if we talk about the prepping, like you talk about freeze drying, like the machine does the work, right? But the prepping
Mm.
alone, that's where you really get into the hard work to where you make a big mess, you take a lot of time and you take up a lot of space because you got to pre-freeze everything. So I think prepping is something that people don't even consider. It just takes a lot of work.
Yeah, and so the reason why we freeze dry it raw is because it contains and basically all the nutrients.
Yeah.
So all your fats, all your blood stays there. You're just pulling out just the water. So when we clean our machines, it's just literally a really
It's just
pure
water. Yeah,
water.
it's just water.
And something that we actually, my sister does, she doesn't like to waste things. So she's actually taking the water and watering, she started watering dead plants. And the plants came back to life because of just how rich the water was. But it's clear water. It's not like blood. It's not like,
Yeah,
fats. So when we recook, rehydrate our meat,
yeah.
you're keeping your fats. So basically, you're able to do tacos, nachos, meatballs, anything you want to, and keep all the nutrients, all the fats, all the protein.
Hmm.
Where other people they're doing it, they're cooking it first, and then they're freeze drying it, and you're losing your
Oh,
fats, you're losing your nutrients.
Yeah, but it's
really?
yeah,
Wait,
but it's
I wanna back up camp out on this for a minute because you're saying that your process is different from a lot of competitors out there who
Mhm.
are also freeze drying.
Hmm.
Okay, let's explain this just one more time because I don't want my listeners to miss this. One of the reasons that people invest in grass-fed, grass-finished beef is because of the very high nutritional uh, qualities of the beef. And
Hmm.
so, but if it's pre-cooked and then freeze-dried, you're saying that those nutrients are just gone by the time the consumer gets it, and
It's,
you're
it's
not
you
doing that.
don't lose all of them, but
Yeah,
you lose a
it's
lot during that
diluted.
cooking process because whenever they cook it, they drain out everything that came out of that meat. So you
Yeah,
lose a lot of that with it. With ours,
okay,
it's all still contained there. So whenever you
okay.
bring it back to life, and so I just want to explain this, like our meat is raw meat. So when we freeze dry it, it's raw.
Okay, and
Okay.
so let's talk about what the consumer does when they get it. I have a
Yeah.
picture here from your website. This is a bowl of what looks like just like dried up. It doesn't look that appetizing, we
No, it
gotta be
doesn't.
honest. But talk to us about what happens when you go from this. How do you go from this
Yeah.
to this?
So whenever you add the water, yeah, that's what it looks like. So whenever you add the water back to it, so you only add 10 ounces of water per pound. And you won't have any water draining off. It completely reabsorbs back into the meat. It looks like you just got it from the market. You just got it from your grocery store. You can make burgers with it. You can make meatballs. You can do everything you normally do. So if someone pre-cooks this product for you, you can only do a very limited amount of things. But if you get it raw, then you can do everything you would normally do with ground beef. Now, this is just the first product that we're bringing to market. We already got steaks on the way. We already have them freeze dried, so
Yeah.
we're doing everything with that. So we're gonna have steaks. We're gonna have steak tips. We're gonna have chicken. We're gonna have pork, lamb, goat. We're gonna have everything. And the best part is it's all organic, grass fed, grass finished. There's no mRNA, anything. There's
Mhm.
no GMOs. It's all organic. So this is going to be right up the alley of people that, you know what? I don't want laboratory meat. I don't want soy meat. I don't want bug meat. I don't want 3D printed meat. I want something that I can trust the way that God designed and made
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And so this is kind of our goal, is to bring this type of product to the market. Other
Well,
people can bring cheaper, faster stuff to the market, but we were
Mhm.
going to give something that people can trust.
And something
yeah.
that is different about our product is when you rehydrate it within 5 to 15 minutes, you're ready to cook again.
Right.
When you're doing something that's already pre-cooked, especially if it's a steak or a meat and it's pre-cooked, we've heard that you had to wait, over 15 hours to rehydrate it to actually. You can eat it however you want to, but if you want the best of that, I guess, of
It,
their product, you have to wait over 15
it's not
hours.
a quick
So with
process.
ours, yeah, you're up and going. Something my wife did the other day is, we have meat in our freezer, but with this meat, she didn't thaw it out. With our meat, we're able to be cooking in 15 minutes.
Hmm.
Mhm. Oh,
Yeah.
that's
So
yeah, that's a game changer. I mean, you're out, like I said, you're picking up the kids.
right,
It's already 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and you're like, you're thinking, I didn't take anything out of the freezer. And
right,
this I mean, this is everybody's life, right?
right,
And so you come home, you pull out your Grid Down Chow Down beef, and you pour 10 ounces of water in it, or however many kids you have. It might be more than that, more
right.
more packets. But and then within 15 minutes, you're ready to cook. You mix in your seasonings, voila, your tacos are ready, or whatever it is that you're
Hmm.
making, or your hamburgers, etc. And that, to me, that's a game changer. And so again, this is exciting because not only can you prep, because we haven't even gotten to how shelf stable this is, but you can really have an easier life. It's a
Right.
convenience item, but it's not a convenience item that's just filled with preservatives and colorings and fakety fake bucket food. It's actually it's actually real food, which we
Yeah.
love, and it has all of those healthy fats and all of the healthy amino acids and micronutrients that people are really starting to
Right.
value. So whether they're on a carnivore diet or a keto, or just like wanting healthy non-injected meats for their family,
Hmm.
it covers all of that. And I'm very excited about this. The other thing I just remembered when it comes to the machine is I think that my friend had to have a separate outlet installed for the machine. Is
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
Yeah,
you have to have a designated power supply to it, or you could fry the machine. You know
yeah.
you so you don't want to damage the machine. It costs a lot. So
So that's
just to
another
yeah
reason to
yeah
let you
so
guys do it.
yeah, you would have to have it. You'd have to have an electrician come to your house. So, but
Okay.
you know that there's so many angles to look at this. You know, when we look at it from a lot of different angles. One, it's
Yeah.
kind of like a mission for us. This is like a
Yeah.
kingdom business for us. You know, if you read the Bible, you know that things get a lot worse before they get better. But in the meantime, we still have to eat, and if we don't prepare, I think like you said, don't be scared, be prepared. You know,
Mhm.
in the Bible, it says, "My people perish for lack of knowledge."
Yeah.
And I think one, yeah, that could be true. Well, that definitely is true, but also maybe people are just confused because there's so much sources, different sources of
Yeah.
truth or untruth or whatever that people are
Yeah.
scared to really commit in one direction. But
Mhm.
when you run out of options, you'd make choices that you wouldn't normally make for your family. I think, you know, in the Bible, it talks about there's going to be a great falling away in those days.
Mhm.
I think part of that's going to be because our food is going to be controlled. And people, families particularly, are going to be making decisions based off of their emotions for their children, wanting to provide for their children's. What good parent would do anything to make sure their kids were safe,
Mhm.
they were fed, and they were healthy? I think a lot of parents are going to find themselves without options, without solutions. They're going to make decisions that they wouldn't normally make. This is one thing that we can do not only for just the everyday American, but also for our brothers and sisters. Is that, hey,
Mhm.
listen, we're going to give you a product that one, you can trust. Two, it's going to give you food security. It's going to give you insurance for your food supply because
Yeah.
the food supply is going to be under attack. Hey, could you go grab a charger real fast? Sorry, my computer's about to die.
Oh, no.
Could you go grab a charger real fast? And then, sorry, it's a laptop and I forgot to put in the cord.
I got it, I
Um,
understand.
but 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 when we find ourselves without options, you know, then we're gonna be left making choices that we wouldn't normally make. So,
Yeah.
you know, when you look at the freezer space, a lot of people have those deep freezes, right, with all the meat
Yeah.
in there. But stuff gets piled in down at the bottom. Before you know it, that food's been in there for 5 years. You never touched it because you didn't rotate it. It takes up a lot of space as well, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And so, you know, with this, you can take 24 pounds of meat and freeze dry it, and it's only going to be 6 to 8 pounds. So you can put that anywhere. You can put it underneath your bed. You can put it in your closet. You can put it in your storm shelter. You can put it in your basement, and it's going to last
So
for 15 to 25
is this
years.
a pound right here on the photo?
That that is a pound.
Okay,
Yes.
and so that's very lightweight. You can put it in a plastic tub where like under the bed in the storage room. I mean, obviously you want it to keep it dry, right? You wanna keep it in a dry, cooler place.
Well, and you don't really have to worry about it too much because
Okay,
it's in a food grade Mylar bag, but
okay,
it's also in another bag. So we kind of did a redundant safety
okay.
bag. That way, if for some reason you're moving this and you're shoving it in a bag and you accidentally punctured the outer bag, it's still protected by another bag inside that
Mhm.
is completely sealed. It has oxygen absorbers, it has moisture
Okay.
absorbers in it. So you're pretty much good to go. You don't really have to worry about it. You can put it wherever you want. I wouldn't put it out in the sun. I would just put it in,
Yeah,
you know, a cool, you know, dark place, you know, wherever. But you
yeah,
really don't have to
yeah.
worry about it a lot.
This is
Yeah.
fantastic for my camping and RV people, because, you know,
Right.
I mean, there's just the refrigeration is almost non-existent, especially freezers,
Hmm.
and then also just space. Space is at a premium. So, I know I have a lot of people that are in that lifestyle, whether it's for seasonal traveling or just for your lifestyle. So, this is
Right.
fantastic. And I just want to remind everybody, you can go to griddownchowdown.com and the QR code is right here on the screen. Scan that, go there, use promo code Mary Grace so they will know that I referred you there. Um, Promo code Mary Grace, Grid Down Chow Down. I love the name. Grid Down Chow Down, you can still eat no matter what. And so it's a fantastic option. I just love it. Talk a little bit about the quality of the meat itself. It doesn't have, you know, the jibber jabbers in it that are gonna make people sick. Uh, Remember, I'm in YouTube jail, so we have to speak in code,
Right.
in case I ever post this there. So, but it's just I just I love the mission that you're on and the dedication to quality as well. So, tell us just some of the features of what's in this meat, and I can't wait. You're gonna do ribeyes, right? Ribeye. Are we getting ribeyes?
We well, we might, but we're just starting off with certain products first. But yeah,
Okay.
we will definitely do steaks.
Okay, good.
But as far as what's in the meat is kind of what Nate said. So you have, I mean, ribeye is in this meat. So you have the fillet, you have the New York strip,
Wow,
you have all those cuts. So the whole cow gets ground up into this meat. So
amazing.
that's kind of, we call it steak burgers.
Yeah,
And so the only thing in it is what God intended to be in it. It's just, they live in a pasture, they eat grass, and they have a good caretaker that takes care of them. But I'm not going to eat anything, that I don't feel safe with, putting in my body. So we're not going to have any of the jibber jabber stuff, and we're not going to have, anything that we can't trust. So it's just basically they are living in a pasture just like they were intended to, and it's grass fed, grass finish. Something that we haven't talked about yet that we like to talk about is that, whenever you go to a store and you get the ground beef and you make a big old burger patty, and then by the time you get done cooking it, it shrinks a lot, right?
right.
And there's a reason for that not everybody knows about. The reason why is a lot of times they inject meat with water. Can you guess why?
My trust in the system is fading exponentially day by day. Tell us why they do that.
Well, whenever you look at the price tag, you pay by the what?
Pound.
So they inject more water weight into it, right? So it just only makes sense, right? So
Yeah.
on ours is actually aged for 14 days, so we actually lose 5% of the whole body weight, but it actually makes a better product. And so we don't upcharge for losing the 5%, but you get a better product. A lot of times people are like, this tastes like the meat that I had when I was a kid, and there's a reason why. It's raised exactly the same way.
Mhm.
Uh,
Mhm.
from then to now, and it's aged and all those
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, and like you said, it's actually we're on a couple different shows, but on the ingredients, it just says ground beef. So there's no preservatives, there's no salt,
yeah,
there's no pepper.
Right, you
Um,
can read the
it's just
ingredients
beef.
because it's
Yeah.
only
that's what
one.
it is.
That's
Right.
fantastic, and there's no foreign languages,
It doesn't
n
say a QR code here to find the other ingredients. It's
right,
just right
no, yeah,
there.
no
Ground
chemical,
beef.
and then just from a term, from a longevity standpoint, I mean, this has a 12 to 15-year shelf life, which is amazing. In my case, I don't know that it would actually last more than a month on the shelf, because I would be eating it, but I get it that I'm gonna get extra to store it, for the future. I mean, that's the plan, right?
Yeah.
But this is just I'm so excited about this. I really am, and on so many levels. Just, the local ranchers you guys are partnering with and supporting and helping sustain a lifestyle that is
Hmm.
on the brink of disappearing from our culture. The farmers in Europe are fighting to preserve that lifestyle even as we speak, and also in this country. And so when somebody buys from Grid Down Chow Down, you are getting a product that Jordan and Nace have sourced directly from a local rancher that they talk to and they know. And so you're helping to keep this animal husbandry alive in this country. And that's tremendous, especially this level of quality and attention to the welfare of the animals and also to the end product. This is just to me, it's really near and dear to my heart because I've seen what's happened to our population because of what's in the food, all of the additives, all of the jibber jabbers and everything that's been put in the food, and we know that it's had a profound damaging effect on people's health. And so there's just so many layers of how a purchase from Grid Down Chow Down can help people on many, many levels. I love it. I love it. I'm getting on my soapbox now. So griddownchowdown.com, promo code Mary Grace. Is there anything that we left out here that people need to know?
Yeah, I would say one of the most important things you can do, whether you want it to use as like, hey, I want to start using this instead of going to the grocery store and buying something that I don't know what's in it, then awesome. You can get set up on a subscription plan to where
Oh, yeah.
you get 1 pound a month, you can get 24 pounds a month, whatever you want. Maybe you're like, I don't really want to eat this every day, but I want to start stockpiling, but I don't have $9,000 to drop today. Well, you can just set aside
Yeah.
enough for 1 pound a month and just start building that,
Yeah.
that food supply for, for in case of emergency. But there's a lot of the people that we see, they're replacing what they're currently buying, and this is going to be what they eat every day instead of going to the grocery store. One, it's convenient; it just shows up at your doorstep. Two, it's kind of one of those things you talked about, that you would like to shop local with people that have the same values as you. And so when we go and we talk to ranchers, we find people that have the same mindset as us, that have the same values, that think the same things are important, that the way America should be, the food quality, the food supply, all that stuff. We make sure that their values align with us, so that if things happen again that we can't control, these are still people, these are still sources that we can count on.
Mhm.
Because I think that's very important to look down the line. We don't just have one; we have multiple. So we keep trying to
Mhm.
find outlets and supplies, different
Yeah.
for different products, for different animals, and all that stuff.
A couple,
Eh, yeah.
I
Go
want
ahead.
to
Go
chime
ahead.
in real quick.
Yeah.
So as we brought this product to market,
Mhm.
we started reaching out to everybody, and we realized okay, save space in your freezer. You can hike with it, you can go camping with it. There's so many things. People started
Yeah.
reaching out to us, how they started loving the product, how it just better impacts their life and makes it more convenient. But also something that animal lovers started telling us. They said, "Hey, I can't give my pet, if something happens, I can't give them all the sugar. I can't give them all this stuff, processed stuff, because my pet, they can't eat it. Their body can't absorb it. And they can't really tolerate the high sugars. So they're like, this is perfect because now I can cook this if I have to for my cats or my dogs." And we're like, it's something that we never thought about,
Yeah.
but it's like, okay, that makes perfect sense. So now this product is even more diverse than we ever thought it would be.
Hmm.
That's fantastic. I was just gonna say, I hope at some point you will start packaging up those little morsels of freeze-dried goodies for our pets, because my
Okay.
cats absolutely love the freeze-dried snacks. I mean, that they're waiting every night before bed for the freeze-dried fish and chicken. I haven't gotten a beef yet, but, one of my friends, she gives her dogs, liver treats
Okay.
freeze-dried, but, I'm not sure about the source. And so I would really love it if you go down that road so that we can have that for our pets. And again, like you're saying, when things if things do go south, nobody can be feeding their animals like dried lentils or dried pancake mix. So I'm 100% on board here. And to my listeners, I just want to remind you one more time, this is the link, griddownchowdown.com. Go to that website and use promo code Mary Grace. Let them know I sent you. As always, part of my mission here is to connect you with the resources, with the suppliers, with the vendors of products and services that will help you to plan, help you to uh, really put in place the motto, don't be scared, be prepared. And getting food security in place is definitely one of those. And so I really want to encourage you, look at your budget, think about what you're spending on certain things. If you're buying things from the middle aisle of the grocery store, it's not worth eating anyway. So just ditch that. Put your resources toward this really incredibly nutritious, sustainable food source, and also start planning for the future. And I want to thank you guys again for being here, Jordan and Nace Roberts over at Grid Down Chow Down. It's just been a fantastic conversation, and I can't wait to start eating this, but also to hear from my listeners, from of their own of their own experiences with it, because I think it's just going to be fantastic. So really, really happy to have you guys. Thank you again for being here, and we will have you back very soon, especially as you start adding more products. So please let us know. Take care.
And they last. We have the towels, and I have a big issue with towels that shrink up after the first washing. The MyPillow towels stay color fast, they stay in shape, and they stay that way for years after repeated washings. You can't ask for better. Plus, they actually work. When somebody buys from MyPillow using the promo code Mary Grace, that does a couple of things. It brings in a little bit of an affiliate commission to our company, and it helps us to pay the bills, keep the lights on, keep the internet going, travel to places that we do to give you remote content. And it also helps MyPillow by giving them the support of people who genuinely value quality and companies that support real people right here in the United States and employ people all over this country and give back to this country. Go directly to mypillow.com, use promo code Mary Grace, and buy everything you need for the home. There's no need to spend time shopping anywhere else. Go to mypillow.com, use promo code Mary Grace, get your towels, pillows, sheets, robes, dog beds, pet beds, cat beds, whatever it is that you want for the home. Go to mypillow.com, promo code Mary Grace. It's easy. Don't waste your time anywhere else. mypillow.com, promo code Mary Grace. Thank you. Listen, your health is your best investment. We have a country to save, and we need people who are in the best shape of their lives, physically, mentally, spiritually. Why not connect with a team who cares about you on every single level from the inside out? Official Synapse is that team. Officialsynapse.com. It's official, synapse.com. Tell them Mary Grace sent you, and they will treat you like family. If you're like most people, you really probably haven't thought about transferring your paper dollars into physical gold and silver. But I want to tell you a story. My friend Andrew Sorcini over at Beverly Hills Precious Metals, he recently went overseas and he wanted to buy a watch. He likes fine watches. He took 3 currencies with him. He took gold, he took Bitcoin, and he took American dollars. Now, there used to be a time when the American dollar was king. I remember that when I used to travel overseas. Everybody wanted dollars. The people that he was dealing with would not take his dollars because the dollar is so devalued around the world. They wanted the gold. So this is what I recommend to you. I want you to think about this. If you have cash in the bank, if you have an investment account that you have worked hard for years to accumulate, consider the value of converting that money into physical gold and silver. You're not buying something that's losing value. You're changing those worthless dollars into a tangible physical asset that will go up in value, which it has done historically. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to go to bh-pm.com. The first thing you're going to do is schedule that free consultation. Second thing, just think rationally about this, pray about it, go to the Lord, see what the best decision for you and your family is. I can't tell you that. I don't want to pressure you into that. What I do know is don't be scared, be prepared. And so the third thing you want to do is make a decision for you and your family. Make a decision, take action. bh-pm.com. Let them know Mary Grace sent you. I just want to give a shout out to everybody who watches this show. Thank you for being a participant. Thank you for being a loyal audience member. I just want to remind you, if you like what you've seen, please share this and don't forget to subscribe, turn on your notifications, and also sign up for my email list so you never miss a show.